Hello, we're live. How are we going, guys? We're here for lesson 3. Can you all see me and hear me okay? Let me know in the chat. We can get rocking and rolling. Welcome to lesson 3. Today is going to be a really interesting one. We are going to be doing things I've never done on a live stream before, so it's going to be fantastic. We're going to leave here with some really clear plans for you guys to go away and get started with. It is useful today to have pen and paper just to scribble down your own notes, your own little aha moments, your own little things of where you go, that's me, that's a great idea, that's where I'm going to get started. If you can all see me and hear me okay, yep, I'm getting good. Awesome. Who have we got today? Sidel, how you doing? We've got Judy, Barbara, Andrea back on as well. Catherine, Adrienne, awesome. What areas have we got representing? Iowa, Florida, Scotland, Brighton, lovely Brighton. Cambry, is that how you pronounce it? Wales. Liverpool, still probably crying over the Tottenham result at the weekend near you. Ruth, we've got Ontario, Texas, Darlene, how are you? And Michelle, you should be in Australia. Australia's fantastic, particularly Melbourne, particularly Sydney. I'm representing for Brisbane. We've got all my favourite areas of Australia showing. Someone can't hear me. Can everyone else hear me all right? Let me have a little drink while I wait for your replies. And I have got several things, several different devices going on at once today, such as the interactive nature of what we're doing. All right, so we are in lesson 3. Let's get properly rocking and rolling now. We are finishing this series with super implementation. In lesson 1, we talked about the what and the why. Why has my body gained weight? Why has it clung on to that weight? Why is it creating visceral fat cells? Why won't it let go of them? We looked at those 4 weight gain paths: inflammatory, hormone, acidity, digestive imbalance. We talked about why calories is complete of a nonsense for you in building your weight loss plan. And we've then moved into talking about how willpower is not a strategy. You cannot start your weight loss journey going, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to try hard. I'm just going to make it work for me. That isn't a strategy. We worked out how willpower is so flawed because of the now proven, as we've known for the last 15 or so years only, that decision fatigue is a real thing. We've only got about 15 combined minutes of strong decision-making power. The decision and the area of the brain, the amygdala, that is responsible for decision making, is only got a certain capacity, and our decision fatigue is, or our decision making capacity is fatigued by: should I check my emails? Should I hit the snooze button? Which route should I take to work? When I get to, should I have a coffee? Should I have it with sugar or not? Should I jump on my emails as soon as I get to work? Should I go and see my boss? Decision fatigue is real. The second is that the fuel for the willpower, the decision-making center of the brain, is very erratic and very unreliable, and it is mostly powered by glucose. So when our blood sugar is erratic, which it will be if we've got excess weight, we won't have a reliable source of strong willpower. And when our blood sugar is at its lowest, when we need willpower the most, our willpower will be at its weakest. Moving from there, we've looked at the 8 weight loss activators. We started with the first one in lesson 1, and then we looked at the other 7 in lesson 2. So if you haven't seen lesson 1 and haven't seen lesson 2, after this session, the link is below this video now if you're streaming it on my site. If you're on YouTube and elsewheres, I will give you the link. Sorry, I thought I had it up here. I will give you the links in just a moment. Uh, I'll give you the links in just a moment. But you're being sent it. You're being sent it, and they're all going to stay up on the Facebook page. They're all going to stay up on my YouTube channel. You can just scroll and see them. So if you haven't checked that out, do check those out, because they form the big part of the picture for you to decide where you're at with lesson one, what the reason is your body has gained weight and held onto it and won't let go of it. Lesson two, based on that, which of the weight loss activators is going to be most relevant to you. And then today we're going to be working out exactly where you can start. So when I'm coaching people to lose weight, the really, 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 really critical time is weeks 1 and 2. In weeks 1 and 2, we focus really, really laser focus in on what I call your 20-80 actions. So as we talked about across both the two lessons, based on Pareto's principle of in any given pursuit, in any given situation or scenario, 80% of the outcome comes from 20% or less of the inputs. So when we apply this to our alkaline health and we apply this to losing weight in particular, you will be able to get to 80% or more of your weight goal with 20% or less of the inputs, of the options available to you. So we work out what those 20% are together, and then we get even more laser focused for your first week or 2 weeks and go within your lifestyle, within what I know about you and your history, within the context of your journey as to where you've got to so far. We work out that handful of actions. Sometimes it's one action to focus on for the first week that's going to be the biggest low-hanging fruit, that's going to get you the biggest result for the least effort, and is going to fit in with your lifestyle and the challenges that you face and your needs and your fears and all those things, your hopes and your dreams. So in that first week, it's the pressure gets lifted. All of the need for willpower disappears, and you can relax and you can breathe, and the stress and the overwhelm disappear. Like we talked about yesterday, relieving stress is one of those weight loss activators. So we work within all of that. Remember, getting you results quickly is the most important thing for me. Obviously, it has to be done sustainably. Obviously, it has to be done with a long-term plan. But when we look through the lens of what's the weight gain path, what are the activators that are going to be best within that context, and then look at what the options are to you, it's going to be something that is the biggest low-hanging fruit that's going to get you results as quick as possible, but within the context of this big framework that we've built for you in your plan. When you get results, it builds confidence, it builds motivation, and that then builds momentum. I'm going to keep talking about this circle of awesome, this beautiful cycle. When you get results, it brings confidence. Confidence brings motivation. Motivation brings momentum, and it comes and it just keeps looping back around and around and around. So that's the goal for week 1. So hopefully as we go through this session, you're going to go, I've got 2, 3, maybe 4 options as to what my number one first step is going to be. And then you focus on just that first step for the first week or so to see where it takes you. If you add more in because you're feeling great, awesome, that's a bonus, but there is no pressure. And you turn that first step into an automatic habit. This is the other thing that's so important to me in my coaching, building these things into habits. If we can identify your 4 or 5 big actions that are going to roll out into week 2, week 3, week 4, and turn those into habits, so you're doing them each day without even noticing, so they become effortless and automated, how easy is it going to be? Like we've talked so many times about how yo-yo dieting is the experience of practically everyone on this call, practically everyone that I've worked with on their weight path. And this is because the things we traditionally typically do, such as calorie restriction, aren't building a solid foundation. They're not turning it into something that happens on autopilot in your life. So that even when you're traveling or on holiday or having a bit of a slip up time, which we all go through, whether it's a day, a week, a month, 2 months, 6 months, you've got this foundation that's happening just as part of your lifestyle. And that's how you build this effortless weight loss journey for a lifetime, so that when you get to your ideal weight, things just stick and you stay there. And this is how I coach weight loss to my students. This is how I coach when I'm coaching in a much more direct way with them. There's only obviously so much I can do specifically individually on a call, but this is the process that we go through. So today, there is something I want to cover off really quickly, because questions that came in after our session yesterday, we can address some of them in the Q&A. But there is one that came up a bunch of times, so I just want to talk about that quickly before we get into the main bit that I wanted to share with you today. First up, who's excited about today, and who has had a little dabble in the weight loss activators already? Donna, good afternoon. How are you? All right, who else has hopped in? Gloria, hello. Maria, Julie, Jackie, Mita, you're back again. That's awesome. Bruna, so great to have you on here. And Cindy, I'm glad you've got the audio sorted. That's fantastic. Hello, Christine, too. All right. All right. So the question that came up yesterday, and I scribbled down some notes because this is an area where, as I get into this, I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed, and I don't want anyone to feel beating up on themselves. And you'll know what I mean when I say what the topic is. The topic is exercise, physical exercise. What we're going to do about that. Now, this isn't an area where in my coaching I pull together like a PT plan for people and go, yeah, you need to go and do 500 burpees and you need to go and do that. The thing with exercise is you have to move, and I absolutely 100%, you've got to get moving. You've got to get moving, but you have to do what's right for you. It has to be something that you can make a part of your life. In lesson 1, wasn't it, when we talked about the 4 most common causes of passing away, should we say? All of them. So what are we talking? Cancer, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and then all the metabolic disorders that sit beneath them. All of them are dramatically improved when we move. They're all dramatically improved with exercise of some form. Hey, we've got the nice, it was a bit cloudy yesterday, we've got the nice sunlight coming in today. Prevention of, and the four biggest causes of mortality, they're going to get all of us pretty much, like, unless there's a tragic accident, they're going to get pretty much all of us at some point, and they are all dramatically improved with exercise. So when we're talking about excess weight and the extra things that you've got going on, so there's excess weight, but what else have you got going on? And in lesson 1 from memory, there were things like chronic fatigue, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, digestive issues. We had all sorts going on in there, cardiovascular, cholesterol issues. All of these are dramatically improved with exercise. And as we age, our longevity is dramatically improved with exercise as well. And looking at the 2 areas of longevity, not just lifespan, which is the measure of how long you live, but health span, which is the measure of how well you live. Okay, both of those dramatically improve with exercise, with physical fitness. So it's really important that you do get moving. It obviously can play a role in weight loss, but don't think of it as I have to go and burn 500 calories. Think of it as getting moving, whether it's going for a walk or doing some rebounding or doing yoga or doing having a run or doing some high intensity exercise or doing some resistance exercise. Those types of things are all improving those 4 weight gain paths. Of course, they're reducing stress, they're beating inflammation, they're helping with your digestion massively. When you get physically moving, helps your digestion 100%. It helps your body to remove excess acidity when you are physically fit and cardiovascularly and metabolically fit. So all of these are contributing to your weight loss, not through burning calories directly, but through increasing your metabolic health. Strengthening bone density, reducing stress, increasing cardiovascular health. You have to pick what works best for you. In my humble opinion, a combination of some steady state cardio, whether that's walking or running, or swimming or cycling or rowing, whatever it is, often called zone 2 exercise, with a combination of high intensity interval training or short sprint interval training. If you can build into there, even if it's at home sort of body weight type exercises or yoga or Pilates as well, that's fantastic. But start with just one thing. Start with one thing. If it's just some walking, build it into your day. There is no reason why anyone can't build in a tiny bit of walking into their day, even if it's just that. If it's some just stretching at home, if it's just that. Again, as we're talking about week 1, week 2, moving into week 3, week 4, it begins by building the habit, and it's just a simple thing. Even if it's just to go, that's just enough to tick the box, that's absolutely fine as well. What I don't want is for any of you to see exercise as a daunting mountain that you have to climb, that's going to make you go, oh, I can't do any of it then, or I'm going to put it off until everything's perfect, or I can't start until X, or I need to go and buy loads of stuff in order to get started. Just walking. We talked yesterday about the sleep protocol with getting up and getting outside. Try getting up and getting outside in just a 5-minute walk. That would be brilliant for the first few weeks. Tick, and take it from there. Please don't get stressed out. Please do not get stressed out by exercise. There is loads more we can talk about when it comes to the nuts and bolts of exercise, and resistance training for longevity, and the structuring a sprint interval training session and all those sorts of things. Don't need to worry about all of that now. The overwhelming tone of the questions that I got around exercise were all fear. Don't be scared here. Don't be overwhelmed. Just pick whatever is going to work in your lifestyle. There is no right or wrong way. Just pick what works for you. I hope that helps you breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. I hope that helps you breathe a bit of sorry. There was another question that came in quite a lot over the last couple of days, which is around measuring 80-20. What does that mean? What does it mean to have an 80% alkaline versus acidic diet? What does it like? Do I have to eat 100% alkaline? Is there room? If I eat this alkaline meal, can I have this dessert afterwards? Or if I have a coffee but then follow it up with an alkaline meal, does that? So I'll answer all of that in the Q&A, because I really want to get into the main bit of today and what that looks like. Let's see if this works. Can you guys read the writing on the screen now with this picture of me next to it, or do I just go full screen writing? Maybe we go full screen writing. Let me know. If you can still read that, that's okay with me. Let me know. I appreciate that, Rosalie. All right, you can read it. That's good. So I can stay here. Hello. All right, now I've got me up on another thing here, over here. So if you see me looking over here, that's because I'm checking that it's all still working and reading your comments as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to live case study, go through some of my weight loss clients that have joined my weight loss program. We're going to go through their get started, get going questionnaire, where I've asked them a bunch of questions that you'll see. And we're going to live. I haven't seen these yet. My team have picked out 4. We might go through all 4. We'll see how we go. Never done this before. I haven't seen the questions or the answers. I've seen the questions, wrote questions. Haven't seen the answers yet, but we're going to go through their situation. And I'm going to explain what I would put together for them to build out their plan for long-term and short-term, and the get started now week 1 stuff. Okay, does that sound good? So for me, this is similar. Has anyone ever been to a Tony Robbins event, like a Date with Destiny or a UPW or something like that? Oftentimes in those events, he will sort of go, he will ask a question of the audience, and someone will get up and they'll answer. They'll stand up and they'll answer the question, and he'll go, "Oh, that's quite interesting," and it will turn into like a 2 hour him sort of working with that person one-on-one in this room of like 2,000 people for like 2 or 3 hours, and you think, God, that would be really boring, but it's not. It's just riveting, and you're sitting back and just going, "Oh, this is interesting," and then suddenly you go, "Oh my gosh, that's relevant to me. Oh my God, I've just related that to my own situation. That's really amazing." So that's kind of what I was going for here, but in a much less Tony Robbins kind of way. But as we go through these answers, this is where I'm saying, grab a pen and paper, think about it, all of the context of lesson 1, which weight gain path you identified as being within 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or combination. From lesson 2, those weight loss activators, which of those you felt might be most relevant and useful for you. And now as we go through some of these case studies, start thinking about, because things will sound familiar to your life, start thinking about what your situation is. And if I were looking at your situation, how might some of these suggestions that I'm about to make work for you and be relevant for your situation? Now, we are ready to get going with these. So let's just see how we go. So some of this will be me reading out the answer. So if any of you guys have got not the best internet connection and the resolution isn't fantastic for you, just listen up. So the first question is basically, in essence, tell me about your weight loss journey to start. To date, when did it start? What have you tried before? How long has weight loss been a goal? What do you believe are the biggest contributing factors? So this person, I wonder if I'll be able to recognize anyone in this, but these are all completely anonymous, and I've had complete, for disclosure, agreement from everyone who's filled these in that they may be used on this anonymously. So don't feel like you have to out yourself if you recognize your answers. I don't know who they are. So I started gaining weight probably around 10 years ago. I was under stress and going through a divorce. One of my children was having a tough time at school, so lots going on. Before then, I was quite fit, and I think I was in the best shape I'd ever been with. But since all the stress has been going on, it's been a downward spiral. Menopause has contributed, probably. I've tried so many times to lose weight, but I get unmotivated if I don't see results, and I think that's where I need support. I've tried Weight Watchers and just myself trying to eat more healthy. I've lost a few pounds here and there, but nothing really, and always put it back on. I'll grab rubbish snacks when I'm stressed with work. My diet isn't the best, and I find it hard to get out of that cycle, even when I'm really wanting to. I will buy healthier foods with all the good intention, but they get left in the fridge as I'm always reaching for the rubbish. I'm so confused about what to eat anymore. Who can relate to this? Not whose answers are these, but who can relate to anything in that answer? This is something that I'm reading and going, right, this. There's all these things. So 10 years ago, obviously I don't know who this is. I don't know how old they are. So stress, I can only imagine divorce is very stressful. Children having a tough time at school, I can imagine is heartbreakingly stressful. There's menopause going on in here. Yo-yo, trying to lose weight, unsuccessful, don't see results, get unmotivated. In just seeing, like hearing what I said at the start of this session about how I set up my clients, do you also think I might be able to help this person with their motivation? My diet isn't the best. I grab rubbish snacks when I'm stressed with work. Find it hard to get out of that cycle. I'll buy healthy foods with all the good intention, but they get left in the fridge. Who can relate to that? I'm confused about what to eat anymore. So the things that I'm just picking up on here, obviously the menopause, the stress, I'm seeing a lack of structure of how to eat healthy and a lack of structure in terms of a plan as to what to do. There's definitely a reliance on willpower. I'll lose a few pounds here and there, but nothing really, and put it back on. Grab rubbish snacks when I'm stressed. Have the good intentions, but end up reaching for the rubbish. So what I'm seeing here already is there's no plan, there's no strategy, there's no short-term or long-term strategies in place to make healthy eating easy. Obviously, when there's weight to lose, we have that blood sugar issue and end up craving those simple carbs and sugary foods. So aside from weight, what are the other health challenges? Lack of energy, tinnitus, that's interesting. Sometimes get heartburn, feel bloated and full after eating things like pasta or pizza. So I try to avoid these. Okay, picking up a bit more intel there. Right, next question. Let me know about your average daily diet right now. So breakfast, toast, marmalade, so gluten and sugar, or gluten and a cup of tea. Lunch, ham and cheese sandwich, so processed meat, dairy, gluten, packet of crisps. So I'm recognizing this person's probably in the UK, calling them a packet of crisps. Sometimes salad or a soup, great with sourdough bread, not so great. So dinner, salmon with rice or fries, not great, but veggies, veggie sausages, processed food, omelette takeaway. So all of these meals are quite just rapid, quick. I'm stressed, I'm busy, I don't have time, so I'm just going to grab the thing. I'm going to try and make it a bit healthier by having some salmon or sometimes a salad or a soup. But ultimately, this is all convenience, quick, fast food. The salmon is probably the only thing I'm keeping from there. Snacks, crisps, and biscuits, definitely British. Hydration, probably drink about 2 glasses of water with a slice of lemon and lime. This is really cute, actually. I sometimes have a herbal tea or hot water and mint, but I do drink rooibos tea, red bush, or a traditional cup of tea, probably about 6-7 cups a day. So this is beautiful. Like when I say this is cute, that's not meant in any way other than I recognize elements of myself in this. I recognize elements of so many of my students in this. But like the hydration thing is like, this is where I'm going to grab onto control in my diet with this hydration thing, and I'm going to make that good. And I love that. And that's a really great start. This is a great springboard to start from. Are you using any supplements? No. Tell me a bit about your sleep. I don't get great sleep, wake easily, and then end up going on my phone for a while. Very naughty. Sometimes get heartburn during the night. Mostly get 6-7 hours. My only exercise is walking twice a day for around 30 minutes. That's actually fantastic. And walking twice a day is brilliant. And I don't even care if that's 2 15-minute walks or 2 30-minute walks. That's fantastic. Morning routine, not great. Go downstairs, log on for work. No allergies. That's the end of the question. So where would I start with this person? The things that we're getting that are working. Hydration is not bad. Exercise is not bad. I don't need to get too involved there. That's fantastic. What I'm seeing here is a massive lack of structure. Sorry, the screen's going a bit weird. A massive lack of structure. So there is stressed eating. There is eating at the wrong times of the day. There's eating the wrong things at the wrong time of the day. There's reaching for convenience. There's unhealthy snacks. There's an unhealthy breakfast. There's everything is being set up here to get into that headspace of put it off, put it off, put it off, put it off, put it off. I'm so hungry now and I'm so stressed. I'm just going to get this because I'll be better tomorrow. I'll start better tomorrow. Where I would start here for this person, firstly, supplements, because that's everyone can do a step plus supplements. When I say start with the simplest, smallest thing, I'm not going to let any of you get away with taking some supplements being your one thing for week one. That's a separate thing. So there's some supplements and there's some supplements that I would suggest here, which we'll get onto. Where I would start for this person is structuring in one excellent meal a day. And it wouldn't necessarily be breakfast. Ideally, it would be breakfast because, like we said, when you get breakfast right, it can then support those hormones and stuff throughout the day. So that's where I would ideally start. But as I would back and forth with this person in my program, which I would suggest we get breakfast sorted and then we completely forget about lunch and dinner. We completely forget about them. Okay, we just start with breakfast, and that would be really simple. It wouldn't necessarily even be the most perfect of breakfasts, but we would start to build that morning routine. So when we're looking in here, there's menopause, so there's hormonal issues. There's absolutely so much stress. I would be definitely trying to support the adrenals. There is 100%, I can tell you now, that if they went in for the blood sugar testing, it would be horrendous because I can see I grab rubbish snacks when I'm stressed with work. I end up feeling bloated because I've eaten things like pasta or pizza, and I would wager that those things are being eaten late at night. I get heartburn in the middle of the night. I try and eat healthily, but then I just end up grabbing the worst thing for me. I'm busy at work, so I'm going to make a sandwich and have a packet of crisps. I drink 6 to 7 cups of tea a day is something that people who are stressed out and are wanting to put things off till later will often do. So in trying to alleviate some of the pressure by just focusing on one meal a day, we will automatically, sneakily start to see improvements in the other 2 meals a day, simply because the stress has started to be removed. There is going to be absolutely no focus on you're not allowed crisps, you're not allowed biscuits, you're not allowed sourdough bread. None of that. Keep having them. Absolutely keep having them. The first step for me would be, ideally, we're going to fix breakfast. We're going to do something with that morning routine. When you get up, you're working from home, so don't go straight downstairs and log on. Don't get that phone out. The first thing you're going to do is just get one of those turmeric teas in, turmeric tea or a turmeric latte, even if it's a turmeric tea bag as your first cup of tea for now. That's absolutely fine. I'm totally okay with that. We're going to start with a simple, healthy breakfast, and I would suggest probably 3. We would do chia pots or overnight oats that require basically no time or effort as one of the options. We would do an alkaline sort of porridge oats, whether that's an oats or a quinoa, buckwheat, something like that, that's warming and hearty and filling and comforting and nourishing. And you can have some blueberries and fruits and maybe a little rice malt syrup if you want to on that to sort of sweeten up to get started. And then the third one would be similar to the breakfast that I shared with you in lesson 1, which is some just really quickly coconut oil, just gently frying up some greens and some black beans and some tomatoes with a bit of avocado. So there'd be 3 options, and there would be 3 options to give 3 different taste varieties, time pressure varieties. Some days, if you're absolutely stressed, you can have the overnight oats or a chia pot, which has been pre-made. Some days, if you feel like something warm and sweet, you can have the oats. Some days, if you feel like you want to have loads of greens and be all savory and all that, you could have that one. But it's 3 simple options. And then I would leave it there. I would leave it there. That would be how to get started. What we're doing there is we are, first thing in the morning, adding anti-inflammatories to help remove the inflammation from the hypothalamus, remove the inflammation from the gut, and start to soothe the adrenals. We're adding in the hydration from that to help get the digestive system going, move more of those acidic toxins out, support the liver and kidney. We're getting loads of healthy fats through any one of those 3 breakfasts is contained. They're all containing healthy fats. They're all containing alkaline minerals. They're all containing fiber. They're all containing protein, and they're all fantastic. Okay. They're all nutrient dense, fat rich, fiber rich, protein rich, filling, satisfying alkaline breakfasts. So you're getting good nutrients in, and you're supporting your insulin cortisol curve first thing in the morning. After breakfast, if you want to have your cup of English breakfast tea, you want to check your phone, you want to log on, all of those things, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. This is where I would start, and that would be it. The supplements that I would recommend would be, thinking about all the different goals that are happening here, I would add in magnesium for the alkaline minerals to support the sleep. I would 100% be adding in an omega-3 and ideally an omega-3 phospholipid. Now, one thing that I didn't mention when we were talking about the phospholipids yesterday was how I combined those and take those. So typically on one day, I'll take 2 normal omega-3s and 1 phospholipid. And then on a different day, I'll take 2 phospholipids and 1 omega-3. So you're still taking the same monetary value of supplement each day, but you're just adding in a little bit of one or the other and mixing it up a little bit. So I would go the magnesium. I would go magnesium 3 I would go for the omega-3s. I would go ashwagandha here, which isn't something that I would take every day for the rest of my life. You want to cycle ashwagandha adaptogens. You kind of want to cycle. So sort of 2 weeks on, a week off, 2 weeks on, a week off. And then if I had to pick just one other one, I would probably pick broccoli sprout powder for the sulforaphane. So sulforaphane is super, super alkaline, and it's absolutely fantastic for healing the endocrine system. It's brilliant for the digestive system, and it's fantastic for sorting out the immune system and detoxification pathways that interact. So if you have been living a diet where there's lots of stress and you're eating lots of carbs and lots of sugars, you need to support that detoxification pathway between the liver and the immune system, because there's going to be problems brewing under there. Just going back to the question on what else is going on, there was lack of energy, heartburn, tinnitus. Yeah, look, those will all get healed by healing the weight journey. So I don't have any concerns there. By adding in the adaptogens, the healthy fats, the greens, and the alkaline minerals, the endocrine system is going to be so well supported. So with menopause, we're going to be helping out there. So menopause, you can't cure menopause, but the hormonal imbalances that it creates can be 100% attenuated and minimized, and all those sorts of things. So you guys still with me there in the chat? This is where I would start with this person at 100%. Stage 2 would be adding in lots and lots more greens for this person. That would be my stage 2. So once we've got this breakfast under control, I would be adding into that morning routine, having a green juice or a green smoothie. With the green juices and the green smoothies, the biggest thing that stops people from having them is the perceived amount of time and energy required to make and wash up the juicer. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So, two things with the juicer. One, get a juicer like the Huron brand, which is really, really easy to clean. It takes seconds. But the other thing is, make twice what you need each time you make it, and store the second one for tomorrow. So if working with this person and we're getting towards the end of week 1, I would be saying on Sunday, make a juice that's big enough for today and tomorrow. So when Monday comes, because Monday always comes around, you've got your juice sat there ready for you in the fridge. And in that juice would obviously be lots of greens, but also that turmeric and ginger. Andrea, Hurom, Hurom is my preferred brand. I really should set up some sort of deal with them. I reckon through all of my webinars, articles, and particularly my books, I've probably sold thousands and thousands of Hurom juices for them. I should be in on that deal. But anyway, I'm not, doesn't matter. So if you are this person and you're on this call now, I hope that's been helpful for where we start. And we will definitely be continuing that 100%. So I'm hoping this person privately identifies themselves to me and I can send them this video as our step 1 of where to start. But in working with the people in my program, this would then become a back and forth over email for the first 4 to 5 days while we get everything set up. We get their meal plan set up. We get their actual plan for the first few weeks set up, and it all sort of synchronizes and works together so that everything, all roads lead to Rome. All right, I think that's number 1. Second one, let's see what we've got here. I love this because I don't know what I'm about to get. There will be overlaps, as I'm sure you're aware. The amount of you guys that have raised your hand to say that some of this relates, I'm sure there'll be overlaps, but my team have picked these for a reason. So let's see what we get next. Here we go. All right. Tell me about your weight loss journey to date. All right. I've struggled with weight loss off and on all my life. Was able to maintain it in my 20s and 30s, but have gained and struggled to lose weight after the birth of my daughter at the age of 40. This is so common. So common. I bought your book in January 2019. At the point I was struggling with a lot of inflammation. My body hurt everywhere. I was in so much pain. After reading your book and doing the cleanse, I lost 35 pounds in 3 months. I was feeling incredible. And then I made the mistake of allowing myself a piece of chocolate for Easter. And I've never been able to get back on track since. I'm an emotional eater. Depending on my mood, I'm either treating myself or abusing myself with food. I need help. Right. There's a lot to unpack in there. We'll come back to that. Aside from weight, what are the other health challenges? Inflammation, gallstones, brain fog, vision issues, mood swings, but mostly depressed, high cholesterol, acid reflux, borderline hypertension, IBS, sleep apnea. There's a lot to digest in there as well. This is a big one. Let me know about your average daily diet. Right, morning juice, you start with the best intentions. Breakfast, turmeric and ginger tea, maybe a juice and some oats. Fantastic. And then start to get busy, distractions, lunch, usually reaching for a quick sweet treat or running through a drive-through. Trying to remember to hydrate. Dinner, feeling tired, no energy to cook. Turn to takeout or something else that's quick. Usually get caught up binging the rest of the evening. This is so embarrassing. I'm so ashamed. It's heartbreaking. What is your hydration like? Right now, range between 20 to 48 ounces of water a day. That's not heaps. Using any supplements? No. Tell me a bit about your sleep. Broken sleep, sleep apnea. Usually get about 7 hours. I would wager that that is very low quality, 7 hours. Stress level is generally high. No time for energy. Always exhausted. Don't really have a morning routine. By the time I wake up, there is usually some family member that is in crisis that needs my help. I'm the person everyone takes care of anything. I'm not one to take care of myself. No allergies, not crazy about the cold, raw soups. What? What? Okay, all right. Okay, let's get back to the start on this one. So the big things that are jumping out at me here are the weight gain post having a child, when previously weight was never an issue. That's making me go ding, ding, ding. The inflammation obviously would be one of the weight gain paths here. The emotional element here is obviously jumping out to me heaps. So associating everything was going great until I had made one tiny mistake and had a piece of chocolate at Easter. That's not reality, but it's a perception of reality that's really strong. I'm an emotional eater. Depending on mood, I'm either treating myself or abusing myself with food. This is obviously something we need to look at. Start with the best intentions, but then end up beating myself up throughout the day, and now I'm so embarrassed. So the other stuff really doesn't matter at this stage because we've identified where we need to start here. So in these situations, I find these actually quite hard at times, of course, obviously, because it's quite distressing to read someone putting themselves through this. But we need to obviously repair that relationship with food. The hormonal element here is if I'm thinking with two different hats on. One is just purely the physiological hat. One is the emotional hat. The two areas need to sort of fit together, but they can also be sort of looked at slightly separately. So the hormonal side, sorry, I'm just like a bit overwhelmed by some of that reading that. It's really hard to read through some of this stuff sometimes. If I remove the emotional hat and get really black and white for a minute here, the clear things for me here are getting inflammation out 100%, fixing the brain, for want of a better expression, supporting the brain and supporting the adrenals. They're my two primary goals. Mood swings, but mostly depressed, brain fog, vision issues, sleep apnea. These are all to do with the brain. They're all to do with a lack of healthy fats and a huge amount of inflammatory foods in the diet. It's such a difficult thing that we have often removed all fats from the diet, which the brain so badly needs, particularly that HPA axis between the hypothalamus, pituitary, and the adrenals, through the fear that eating fat is going to make us gain weight and have a heart attack. And as we talked about yesterday, 100% not true. And I mentioned yesterday the charts, and charts are a correlation, I get it, but the charts that show when the eat no fat recommendations came in, so fat consumption went like this, and incidence of depression, suicide, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and all these things go like this. They intersect. So the main things I would be starting with here. So you get tier 1 main things, and then tier 2, which I'd love to add, but let's just take it one step at a time. Getting that abundance of fats back into the diet, which are going to really support the adrenal function and healing of the adrenals. The tempering of the cortisol is really important, and support to the brain, to support with mood and the brain fog and the vision issues and those sorts of things as well. There's some specific supplements that we can do around vision issues, which we'll get onto in a second. Getting the healthy fats is also going to support the cholesterol goal that's here, the reflux goal that's here, the hypertension goal that's here as well. I would love to see, as this person has said, mornings start with the best intention, and clearly we're getting somewhere with mornings. I would absolutely be adding in a green smoothie into that morning, because it's simple, and we can get ashwagandha in there, we could get maca in there, which is fantastic for mood. It's not just libido, it's fantastic for mood. And we can get coconut oil and some other nuts and seeds in there that are going to be just the fantastic delivery mechanism for the healthy fats. So you're having the turmeric and ginger tea, that's fine. It doesn't need to be the latte. We can get the healthy fats into the smoothie. So I would be, with this person, developing 2 or 3 smoothie recipes that are going to be right for them based on the ingredients they don't like, and making sure that they're recipes that they do like. So that's the sort of thing I can do when I'm coaching with you. Getting busy, getting distractions, lunch, reaching for a quick sweet treat, running through a drive-through, dinner, feeling tired, no energy to cook. Right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to, on a Sunday, before we start the program on a Sunday, we're going to make a big batch of my bliss ball recipes that are going to be that sweet treat for the week. Okay, there can be 2 or 3 different kinds. If you make one that you love and you're like, I'm happy to have this as my treat for 7 days in a row, that's fine. If we need to make some others to make them more variety and a bit of novelty, that's fine as well. And we're going to work on having that Sunday being creating those snacks so that we've got that sweet treat. It's never going to be perfect. There's going to be times you're going to forget. There's times you're going to eat them all in the morning and you're going to have none left at night because they are delicious. That's absolutely fine. But it's going to be baby steps towards removing, because one of the problems with emotional eating when there is weight is that blood sugar drops, willpower disappears, you reach for a sweet treat or a really simple carby type treat. You eat it because that's what your body is almost insisting that you do. And then you feel crap, and then it spirals. So you start with the best intentions. You start so well, but the lack of preparation and the abundance of big food going, eat me, eat me, eat me, sweet treat. As soon as you slip once, the whole day's gone, and then the whole week can be gone, and then it can be weeks before you go, no, I need to draw a line in the sand again. This is the issue when there's that emotional eating element to it. If we're getting to dinners, and we can work on the dinners in weeks 2 and 3. There's so many quick, simple, easy dinners, things we can pre-prepare, ways we can take a unhealthy dinner and turn it into something that's got a healthy element to it, and we can build from there. I feel that if we can bring control back, whenever there's emotional eating, if we can bring an element of control back, it makes a huge difference. So starting simple. With any of you guys who are on this call, that any of this seems familiar, like emotional eating, beating yourself up, either binging or abusing or making yourself feel crappy about food, there is a simple tool that I want to share with you now, and I'll obviously be sharing it with this person. And it is called, what am I going to call it? It's called writing down what you want to eat tomorrow the night before. This works so fantastically well. So fantastically well. If the night before you go to bed, the night before you go to bed, before you go to bed the night before, you simply have a pad and pencil next to your bed, and you just write out what you want to eat the next day, what you want breakfast, lunch, and dinner to look like the next day, what you want snacks to look like the next day. You may not be perfect, but I can tell you now, removing decision making from the food process the next day is magic. This works like crazy. When you remove the decision. So when you wake up, you go, I know what I'm having, and I go and have it. When it's lunchtime, I know what I'm having and I'm going to have it. Because you will do slight micro planning things in. You will support yourself. If you need to have something with you, you'll be way more likely to pack it. If you need certain ingredients, you'll be way more likely to pick them up from the shops, and then you'll be way more likely to use them. When you plan the night before what you want to have the next day and remove decisions in the moment, you take the devil off the shoulder, and it just becomes so much more easy, so much easier, more easy, so much easier. From a supplement point of view, again, we're going ashwagandha. If there was any medication involved here, we would stick with turmeric. I don't believe there is in terms of blood thinning and blood regulation. So I would suggest curcumin, a curcumin phytosome supplement to support that inflammation. Going back up a page. Sorry, when I scroll up, it sometimes goes all dark on the screen for some reason. Again, the lack of healthy fats, I would be getting omega-3 and phospholipids in again here. And honestly, with the cholesterol and the IBS, I would probably be recommending a MCT oil powder to go a scoop of that into the smoothie as well. And then just basics, green powder and an alkaline mineral powder, budget permitting. That tier 2 suggestion that I was saying would be ideal, but I won't be overwhelming here, would be the mindfulness meditation first thing in the morning, every day, where possible. That's what I would be suggesting here. After broken sleep with high stress levels, waking up and getting into that state of mindfulness. To begin with, it will be a 10-minute session, and you will probably be fully mindful for 2 minutes of it or so. But as you build up and build up, each of those minutes is gifting back to your brain what your brain has lost through the lack of sleep, through the sleep apnea. Mindfulness also gives you, how I've had this described before, is it gives you a tiny gap between stimulus and reaction. So when something happens, it gives you this micro pause for your conscious brain to kick in and start making decisions, instead of it being a subconscious, the decision's already made and you're already doing the thing. When it comes to, and I think every parent can relate, when it comes to, that's a bit annoying, isn't it, that screen doing that? When it comes to the things around where was it? What part was it? I'm sure I saw. Sorry, we'll keep going down. When it comes to the things around exercise decisions, when it comes to the things around the family member in crisis, especially, and how stressful that can be. Believe me, we've got 3 kids. I know how that can be in the morning. It's been particularly tough on Tanya these past 3 mornings because I've been downstairs between 6 a.m. Well, 4:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. So she's been taking all of that for the last 3 days. So she'll be getting sent off for a nice relaxing day tomorrow. Where there's those family crises, the kids going mad, something's gone wrong. The mindfulness gives you that pause, la pausa, that just allows you to stop for that microsecond and react from a place that's probably more productive. So I would really recommend that, but I wouldn't put that pressure on week one. I would say, let's get these other things sorted in week one, and we'll start to look towards that by the end of week one. Who can relate to this one? Who in the chat can relate to this one? I need another little sip of tea. Again, I keep getting up in the morning and just talking for 3 hours. It's really makes you really thirsty. And are you all still there? I'm assuming it's because you're all listening really intently. All right. Yeah, there's a few of you. There's a few of you. All right, let's get into the third and final one before I move into the very last bit of training and helping you bring this all together. All right, so what have we got here? All right, just a bit of Tai Chi. There we go. What have we got here? All right, tell me about your weight loss journey to date. Weight loss has been a goal for me since my first pregnancy, 1978. Here we are again. So I didn't talk about this enough in the last one, but it's such, there is such a, it's so hard for not weight loss not being a part of your mind at all, not even a part of your life. And then for some people, it's with the first child. For some, it's the second. For some, it's not until the third, or however many is their last child. And then suddenly everything changes and it becomes impossible and it feels insurmountable. And there's all this emotion tied up in there. And it's an incredibly challenging situation. But there are solutions, there are answers. So let me help you with that. Let me help you with that. So weight loss has been a goal for me since my first pregnancy, 1978. The biggest contributors are all self-worthiness, stress, at times depression, inactivity, eating habits, irregular late night snacking, and feeling that food will fix all of my emotional thoughts short term. Tried almost every day out there, was successful with some, but not observed. Got comfortable, got the same old eating habits back with the same emotional stresses. So there's some similarities here. Aside from weight, what are the health challenges? I'm waiting for knee replacement, hence the inactivity for the last 3 years since COVID. I have blood pressure issues, but not on any medications. It's good. I have digestive issues. Lately, I've been having constipation issues. I do have bowel movement in the mornings, but I feel like I'm not releasing all the poop. I'm a stressor. My English uncomfortableness with these things kicks in. I am a stressor. My adrenals are always on high alert. I feel like my body's full of inflammation, especially my right side. Breakfast, not a regular breakfast eater. Oatmeal, toast, poached egg, smoothie, omelette. Lunch, not a regular eater. Sandwich, smoothie, hamburger. Dinner, some kind of meat, potatoes or rice, cooked vegetable, mixed salad. Snacks, chocolate bar, potato chips. Definitely not British this time. Nuts and yogurt. Watch hydration like that, not very good. About 4 or 5 glasses. That is not very good. Are you using any supplements? Yes, C, D, zinc, calcium, magnesium. That's great. Very poor sleep habits. Stay up usually until midnight, either reading or watching TV. Usually wake up at least once after I fall asleep. I have 3 or 4 hours of sleep before waking up, and then another 3 or 4 before I will fall back to sleep if that's what I do. I'm a stressor. I stress about everything. I suffered traumatic physical accident about 25 years ago. To my L5-S1 vertebrae, I can relate to that. And my body and brain are still holding on to it. I believe these stresses are contributing to high blood pressure. No exercise because of the knee. Try to walk every day for half an hour. That's great. Doing a movement program to align my body frame. That's also great. Morning routine, wake up, do my morning stretches, have hot. There goes the screen again. Have hot, what's it going to say? I'm sure it's going to say lemon water or tea. Does it say? Dun, 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 have hot lemon drink or coffee. I was pretty close. Spend an hour or so on my iPad reading the news. Probably wouldn't do that if I was stressed out. Make the beds, do other household chores. Make the beds is good. Very Jocko, if you've got Jocko fans in the room. And that's about it, isn't it? No allergies, anything else you want me to know? I'm a compassionate person who is alone. That could be part of my problem. I spend too much time alone and inside my home. I'm ashamed of how I look. You guys, you're getting me, man. I want to change some of my body so I feel good about myself. I am so motivated to help you. That's me talking about that. I'm so motivated to help you. I feel that everyone is judging me because of the weight I've gained. Everyone's judging. Everyone's too busy judging themselves. That's one thing I will say. They're not judging you. The sad part of that is they won't judge you when you're in the best shape you've ever been in your life either. They'll probably be secretly jealous of you, but they're not judging you now. That's for sure. They're judging themselves. No one's thinking about anyone else for more than a fleeting moment in a comparison sense. So what have we got going on here? We've got pregnancy, so we've got hormones going crazy. We have got emotional eating again. So a lot of what we just said before is going to stand for this as well. So we may do a fourth one because we're going to cover a similar ground again. So I'm going to jump into some of the weight loss paths here that aren't around emotional eating. So if and when I consult with this person and we back and forth, obviously we're going to go deep on the emotional eating issues. For the sake of your enjoyment of this lesson, I'm going to cover the other stuff and assume and pretend there weren't emotional eating issues. The same as I've just said for the second person applies for this person in all of those senses. This is frustrating when it does that. What I would certainly be addressing here is obviously the inflammation, but I would be hyper focusing on the digestive issue here. So a lot of stress, a lot of our hormone regulation, a lot of our emotions is also coming from the gut. So in the last person, I'd be focusing on the gut in probably by week 3 to week 4. With this person, we'll focus on the gut now so that I can give you that lesson. I will probably be giving a very similar lesson to this person as last person. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So blood pressure issues, not on any medications, digestive issues, constipation issues, the bowel stuff we always talked about, and then the adrenal stuff as well. So breakfast, not regular eater, lunch, not regular eater, dinner, very meat and carby, and then snacks are obviously sweet and chocolatey and dairy and all those sorts of good. No hydration, a few supplements, which I love. They're all very immune system based, which is absolutely fine. And then the very poor sleep. So with digestion, we'll start with the supplements, what I would talk about from a supplement point of view, because that can start on day one. The first is, again, MCT oil powder. So why do I recommend MCT oil powder? It's not that I'm not recommending coconut oil, and it's not that I'm not recommending MCT oil, but MCT oil powder is really, really well tolerated by the gastrointestinal tract. So people that have digestive issues can sometimes have a real difficulty adding in lots of healthy fats because it makes them feel really nauseous and it irritates the digestive tract. So where there's digestive issues, the MCT oil powder can be really good. So not only is that giving you the healthy fats, but it's also giving you MCT oil is a concentration of caprylic acid, whereas coconut oil contains lots of the medium chain triglycerides, the fatty acids. MCT oil is more of a concentration of caprylic acid. Caprylic acid is proven, it kills candida, several strains of candida, including Candida albicans. So where there's digestive issues, there's oftentimes going to be candida overgrowth, an imbalance of gut flora. Okay, so this is a good place to start, and it's also giving you those brilliant MCTs that are going to begin to soothe the adrenals, begin to soothe and support the endocrine system as well. The next thing I would be doing with this person is getting on top of their gut flora. So this is my weed, seed, feed protocol. Okay. Some of you will have heard me talk about this before, but this is where I'd be beginning here. So weed, seed, feed. Weed is about trying to get rid of the things that are causing the bad bacteria to grow. So this is tapering down the sugar and the gluten. We'd be working on that sugar swap exercise that we talked about yesterday, and looking at how we can just find a couple of really simple swaps for the gluten that's in there. Like, you know, we look at the breakfast and we go oatmeal, no gluten. Toast, we can switch to a gluten-free toast. Poached eggs, fine. Smoothie, fine. Omelets, fine. There's no gluten there. We don't need to worry about it. It's not to say that the eggs alkaline forming. Eggs are fine in moderation, but we're not worrying about that for now. Remember, we're worrying about one thing at a time. Lunch, we just need to, obviously we want to get the hamburger. We need to find some simple swaps that are going to be really quick, convenient, easy lunch that don't include the gluten. Dinner, there doesn't seem to be gluten in there. Snacks, again, we can do one of the bliss balls. We can do one of my other alkaline snacks. We could do my granola, which you can just take in a little jar and snack on, those sorts of things. So weed, seed, feed. So for the first little while, we're weeding. We're getting rid of the foods that are contributing to the bad bacteria. In the second phase, the seed, we're adding in some natural probiotics, some of the good bacteria through, in an ideal world, natural sources like kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, kombucha, these types of things. They're not strictly really alkaline forming, but they're not super acidic, and they do serve this purpose. Certain foods are not alkaline forming, but they serve like a natural medicinal purpose. We use them for a short period of time. So for a short period of time, we'll be using these naturally occurring probiotics to seed the gut, the intestines, rebuild that good bacteria. And then in the feed stage, we can taper off all of those kimchis and sauerkraut things. They can just be part of a balanced diet, but we don't need to focus on them. And then in the feed, we're moving then by this stage in their plan into weeks 3 and 4, and we can just make sure we're adding in much more of the alkaline veggies that are going to support that gut. But this is where I'd start with the gut for this person. So the MCT oil powder would be the first supplement. Psyllium husks, fantastic, cheap, cost like less than $10, like $5 or $6 for like 2 months worth or something. They're really cheap, but just get 100% natural psyllium husks. Don't be buying a brand like Metamucil or one of those, because they're basically like psyllium husks with loads of chemicals and sugar thrown in, like aspartame and stuff. Could not believe when I saw the back of the packet. Yes, kefir is also fantastic, Maria. In fact, kefir is probably my favorite, because you can kefir up some like coconut water, and it's delicious, and you can just drink it and add it to your smoothies and all that sort of thing. Psyllium husks are a source of soluble and insoluble fiber, so they're going to support you in multiple ways, and they act as like a prebiotic as well once we start getting through that second phase of the weed seed feed. So that's fantastic. If you can get resistant starch as well, that's fine, but MCT oil and psyllium husks, absolutely really important. And then alongside, obviously, the healthy fats, the omega-3s. And again, I would recommend the phospholipids, thinking back to the mood and emotion and stress part of this as well. So that's where we would be starting with this person. We would absolutely be looking to make breakfast regular and the hydration at breakfast regular to set that cortisol and insulin curve properly. This is really important for emotional, stress, adrenal situations. So we want to make sure that the adrenal function is doing its job properly first thing in the morning. So we want to get that breakfast to become regular. And then we take the day as it comes for the first week or so. The other supplements that are here, really good. I'm happy with those. C, D. In an ideal world, everyone would have optimal vitamin D levels. We probably wouldn't have had as much of a situation between 2020 and 2022 if everyone had vitamin D levels that were optimal, and zinc. So Rosalie has just asked, can you explain the phospholipids? Yeah, it's just a form of omega-3 that really, really effectively crosses the blood-brain barrier. So for things like cognitive issues, brain fog, sleep, emotion type things, stress, it's really useful. Really, really useful. Omega-3s can cross the blood-brain barrier, but it's incredibly inefficient. With phospholipid form, we don't need to go into all the technical science as to why, but we can another day. And it will cross the blood-brain barrier and support in that way. And that's why I recommend magnesium 3 and 8, where there is brain and cognition and sleep-based goals as well, because the 3 and 8 can do the same as well. Whereas, magnesium, glycinate, biglycinate, stearate, those can't really. Kefir isn't dairy-based. Kefir is the bacterial grain, so to speak. And you kefir whatever you want. You can kefir water out of your tap. You can kefir coconut water. You can kefir whatever you want. So kefir sold in the shops is often kefired dairy, but you can kefir anything. How long for each stage of weed seed feed? Generally speaking, a week to 2 weeks for each stage. If you're really comfortable and finding it simple, you can elongate that a little bit, but a week to 2 weeks of each. Where were we? So yes, so supplements, that's all looking good. Again, I would be definitely including curcumin in here. The person has said that there's no medications being taken, so curcumin, absolutely fine, to reduce that inflammation and support the adrenals more, and all the suggestions we made on the previous person. Now, straw poll here. Who wants to get into the next part of this lesson, or who wants to do one more? We have got one more, I think. We do have one more. So let me know what if 3 is good, then we can move into the next bit, because there is something else I really want to cover before we get into the Q&A. I'm just going to do some housekeeping while I'm waiting for your answer, because it's on a delay. Oh, we've got a 50-50 mix. I knew that would be a mistake. I knew that would be a mistake. All right, well, how about I go into it, do one more real quick, and then we get into the next bit. How about that? I'll do this one real quick. Let's just see if there's any big standouts of things that we haven't covered so far. All right, so tell me about your weight loss journey to date. When did it start? I did try the South Beach diet quite a few years ago. At 15, I was able to get weight I was happy with, but slowly it came back on. That doesn't surprise me. The South Beach diet does not give you a foundation. Weight loss has been a goal for at least 10 years, with more focus on the past 5 years as I keep gaining more weight. Tried a gut healing program last summer. In my early 30s, I was on an antibiotic for acne for about 10 years, and I didn't realize what kind of damage it would do. I lost 10 pounds in that program, but I've gained it again. I was trying to eat more vegetarian, but I have trouble putting meals together. And lately I haven't felt like I could really say, oh, I really want this for lunch or dinner. It's more, I just don't know what I like. I've been on a form of birth control because I had endometriosis. My heart goes out to you having endometriosis. I was on that for 8 years. Jeez. I've now gone through menopause. This is a contributing factor. I have extreme fatigue. It's hard all the time. The evening I usually make dinner and breakfast and lunch for the next day. This is fantastic. I don't seem to want to do it. I've been getting very tired, fatigue, and dealing with menopause symptoms, brain fog, insomnia. So breakfast, smoothie that has both greens and fruit in it, non-dairy yogurt with fruit and granola, eggs and sausage, oatmeal, bagel, and cream cheese. These are all very American breakfasts from my experience being in America. Lunch, a sandwich, dinner, pizza, takeout meals, taco, sushi, pasta. Been trying not to snack, but gluten-free crackers and hummus, fantastic. So snacks are on point. Hydration isn't fantastic, isn't terrible. Omega-3 supplements dropped off. Supplements, turmeric, ashwagandha, neem. vitamin D, ALA, purchased omega-3 to start up again. Sleep is a big problem. It sounds very interrupted. Stress level isn't too bad. And I'm starting to deal with my parents aging, which is actually very stressful. Exercise is great. So there's some really good things in here. Stress isn't too bad. Maybe the ashwagandha's helping. Exercise, I'm really happy with. Hydration could be better. Snacks, pretty good. With this person, there's less emotional element to it, and we can kind of just get stuck into some slightly more living alkaline-y, straightforward-y kind of stuff, which is really, really great. So where I would start with this person is obviously the antibiotic use for 10 years, birth control for 8 years. That's 18 years of completely messing with your hormones and your digestive system. South Beach diet. This is where we talked about the calories and these programs that don't give you a foundation and all those reasons why you will lose some weight, but then you'll gain it all back again. So there's fatigue, brain fog, insomnia, really stuffed up digestive system, really stuffed up endocrine system. And sorry, my brain was just working on the all those antibiotics and stuff, like would really stuff with your immune system as well. So out of those three, I would actually probably start with the immune system first, because the amount of the endocrine system that is actually related and interrelated with the immune system, the amount of the digestive system that is related to the immune system is huge. So I would actually probably start there with this person. They're doing a really good job of certain things, but again, you can see the day starts with these intentions and gets dramatically worse as it goes on. I would actually be looking at really, really smashing dinner with this person. And because I don't feel that there's the emotional eating element here, but obviously we would be backing and forthing. I'm not just going to guess and then give them a plan and then never talk to them again. But I would be really, really focusing on dinner here to make dinner a massive alkaline, immune boosting, sleep supporting meal of the day. So we would be having big salads. We would be having the alkaline soups. We would be having all my alkaline stews and curries. These recipes that give me an opportunity to sneak special ingredients in that are going to support this stuff. The supplements that I see here are great. I would be focusing in really heavily on the sleep supplements. So I'd be getting that magnesium 3 and 8. I would be getting that epigenin. I would be getting the B6. And I would definitely be making sure that the omega-3s are restarted. They've said that they've dropped off. Sorry, I just got distracted by a couple of the comments. The breakfast smoothie, I would obviously be tapering out the fruit. I would be losing that. And I would be looking to get into that breakfast smoothie. Just thinking about the immune system. If it can be tolerated from a taste perspective, broccoli sprouts, which are distinctive, but it depends on what else is going in the smoothie, because there are ways to really hide those away. From an immune point of view, I would be getting Brazil nuts in there for the selenium, and obviously be making sure there's lots of leafy greens, particularly if we can get things like obviously spinach, maybe watercress, the ones that are higher in zinc. I would be getting into there. But week one, our primary focus for week one would be working together to get that dinner absolutely smashed and sorted, so that I can tell you now, a lot of the insomnia is coming from this dinner. A lot of the insomnia is coming from this dinner. So I would be going a lot deeper here, obviously, if this was the first one we were doing, but I'm mindful that there's a few people who are saying, let's get on with the rest of the thing, and a few that are saying, let's do another one. Anything else you want me to know? Are there any other bits I've missed from here? I feel like I've been stuck in a gathering stage of information. Some will say one food necessity, the other person will say the exact opposite. Obviously, coaching with me will overcome that. Another mental block that the food I'm creating isn't going to taste good. Obviously, I can help with that. I watched Jane Esselstyn and her mother on YouTube. They're so cute together and cook vegetarian recipes, but after every recipe they're tasting, they say, "Yum, that's amazing," and it's just roasted broccoli. That's unbelievable. Oh, I'm so glad I saw that. That's unbelievable. I love that. And I get it. But I hope you guys that have seen with me for a little while know that my recipes are delicious and they're not just broccoli, roasted broccoli. So that's where I'd be starting here. There's some great supplement recommendations in there. We're going to be focusing on the immune system first here. We're going to be doing that via some tweaks, but mostly by focusing just on dinner. Again, these steps every single time we work together, and it's so successful because we focus on one thing, remove all the pressure on everything else, so that one thing is all you need to worry about. It removes the stress, it removes the pressure, it removes so many of the roadblocks for people. And you've seen in these examples, so many people go, start with good intentions, breakfast pretty good, lunch not great, dinner oh dear, and now I feel terrible and I'm going to bed stressed and feeling terrible, which I'm then going to have terrible sleep, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow feeling groggy and awful and terrible and stressed, and so breakfast, I'm going to really try breakfast. And we just need to break that. And when we break that, everything else becomes so much easier. It really, really does. It really, really does. Loads of questions already coming in, and I'm going to be getting into those in the Q&A, and we are going to be getting into the Q&A in a bit. Now, there's a few of you on here that know about this already. There's a few of you on here that don't. And you may be wondering, if you're curious, where on earth are these questionnaires? Who are these people? Where are these answers coming from? I'm going to go into this assuming none of you know about this, and I know that some of you do. Starting tomorrow, it's Tuesday for most of you, Tuesday night. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be opening up a very, very small number of spaces for people to work with me very, very closely. Very much an individualized, personalized plan in an 8-week weight loss coaching program with me. There's not many spots available. It's going to work like this. The first thing you get when you join me in this program is a link to that questionnaire, that survey, which you fill in. And from there, you and I start working together to build your get started plan, your week 1 plan. From the answers in our back and forth, we work out a personalized, individualized 8-week meal plan for you. It comes with a shopping list, itemized shopping list. Buy the foods on the shopping list, you eat the meals. Brilliant. We have coaching calls twice a week. I did think Tuesday and Thursday, but I think they're going to be Monday and Thursday, but we'll see. They'll be at different times to support different people in different parts of the world. There'll always be replays, of course. The first one is going to be a coaching call where I deliver lessons to you. They're interactive. It's a small group, so you can ask questions and we can back and forth and stuff in those lessons. And then the other call is a Q&A call. We do that each week for that 8 weeks. We work together. You will have access to your individualized training site where all the coaching and all the training goes. You'll have access to me, and we go through it 8 weeks every week together to work out where your weight gain path is, what your solution is, what your steps are, one step at a time with an exact plan. Week 1 will be that low-hanging fruit 20/80, getting you results as easily as possible. Week 2 will build, week 3 will build, and we'll be baking in and folding in all of those habit frameworks, my framework for building habits into your life as well. Again, it's going to be really limited in spaces, obviously, because I can only work with so many people doing this thing. like I said, tomorrow, that's not the link. Tomorrow, I'm going to be opening this up to everybody, the general public. What has happened is a couple of days ago, I gave my ABC members the first bite of the cherry. They've taken a few of the spots, a bunch of the spots. There's only 40 spots in total. There's 40 spots in total, and a bunch of those have already gone to my ABC members. So there's not many left, and that they're the people that were in these surveys. That's why I've already got these responses, because those people have already jumped in. They've already answered the questions, and we're going to start over the next couple of days building up to that. We're going to be starting the training part of it on the 10th of October. The week building into it, we're going to be working out everybody's plans. So it's kind of a 9-week program, really. It will overlap Thanksgiving, and we're going to have a massive ceremony and so much support and so much fun over that. That's literally the last week of the program. So by Thanksgiving, we're going to be in a fantastic place. I'm going to be giving you loads of specific Thanksgiving recipes and strategies. We're going to do coaching calls all around it. It's going to be an amazing experience. A bit like if you've ever been to Tony Robbins and done the fire walk. Think of Thanksgiving as the fire walk. But if you want to be a part of that program, register your interest at that link now. What that will mean is you will get access to the link to join tonight, US time. So what is it now? It's about 5:30 Eastern Standard. So by sort of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, you will have access to join first. If you've gone to bed by then, don't worry about it. When you wake up in the morning, be there. It's going to go live to the general public at about 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, the next day, tomorrow, like Wednesday. This is your chance to get in early. Now, for those of you that are live on the session, you will know that I did provide this link to during lessons 1 and 2 at the end of the lesson. I didn't include it on the replay because I wanted to reward those people that show up live and come into the sessions live. But what I can tell you now is, just looking at the people that have actually signed up for that, we've got about 90 people on that priority list already. This is the first time I've taught weight loss as a program, because I've always kind of put it off and not kind of wanted to jump into it because of the reasons we've seen on this lesson. People need individual support, and I've never felt comfortable going, here's a program, here's your username, here's your password, good luck. But I've decided to do it now because I've carved out the next 8 weeks to work with that really small number of people. Barbara, it starts the moment you fill in your questionnaire, so I can start learning about you and emailing you and back and forth. The first training video, live stream, a bit like this, will be on either Monday the 9th or Tuesday the 10th, so next week. Obviously, if we're working together really closely, you can start officially yourself when the time is right for you. But it will run for 8 weeks from Monday next week for 8 weeks until the end of that week. It's going to be a blast. The people that are in there already, I know a bunch of them, obviously, and they're a great group. We're going to have our own little community for it. We're going to have our calls. It's going to be great. There's going to be tons of training put in there as well. There's going to be, I've put together in there over 100 weight loss specific recipes that are in there. There'll be a bunch of bonuses and a bunch of other bits that come up as we go along as well. But it's a chance for me to work with a really small group really closely. And yeah, it's going to be great fun. It's going to be great fun. For those of you in here who have already joined, let us know in the chat if you've already joined, because I know that there are a bunch of you on here. I know I won't read names out of people that I know have joined unless you say so, because I don't like that. There's a privacy issue around that, isn't there? But it's going to be so powerful, so effective. and a lot of fun. Like if you want to be like those examples, if you want to have that level of detail of me going into it, and then me and you get to work and back and forth and develop an individual meal plan for you for 8 weeks, and an individual plan for each, like, this is where we're going to start, this is where we're going to go next, this is where we're going to go next, this is where we're going to go next. Awesome. That's fantastic. And Berin, I'll look into that. Yeah, so again, thank you, Roberta. That's the link. I'll put up my own comment. There we go. That's the link to go to. And just put your name down, put your email down, and then you will get first bite of the cherry in a few hours today to be able to go through that program and join before everybody else gets the chance to. And to be honest, I'm really hoping that I don't even need to email out and let, like, I want it to be filled with the people that have been coming to these lessons. To be honest, I want the most motivated people. Yeah, fantastic. All right, so guys, with that being said, then let's get into the Q&A, because we've still got lots of questions to answer. So I'm going to try and jump back up in the chats and work out. Yeah, so this is really excellent. Kay, how are you? Are you still in the south of France? You were in the south of France, weren't you? That was right. But this is one of the things, like, I've got intolerances. What do I, how do I, intolerances. This is why I do the individualized meal plans for this, because people have got recipes they don't really like which one of the answers was it where they were like, I don't particularly like your raw soups. Great, we'll develop a meal plan that doesn't have any of the raw soups in it. People are like, I don't like, or I can't eat avocado. Okay, we'll work around that. Can't have coconut, no problem. Yes, you are. That's just wonderful. I'll tell you what, if someone who lives in Queensland is going to have any form of location envy, it's for someone in the south of France. All right, so I'm just scrolling up now. I'm here for you, Carolyn. We're going to do this. All right, so Barbara has asked, what's magnesium 3 and 8? That's my accent. It's magnesium 308. But don't forget, when I send out the replay, in the show notes, the class notes, I put links to all of the supplements, all of the guides we've talked about, all of the recipes we've mentioned and all that. There'll be less on this. The show notes, this one is going to be supplement heavy. Which Huron is best? I like the H100 or the H200. The H200 is amazing because it's got this big, what they call the hopper. I don't know why they call it that. The hopper at the top. So you chop up all your vegetables, your celery, your cucumber and everything. You stick it all in the top, switch it on and just walk off and do something else. And you come back and it's all fed through, finished and switched off. That's one of the annoying things with juicing, isn't it? They've got that tiny little hopper at the top, which I understand why it's tiny. It's so you can't put your arm in it and accidentally juice your fist. But it's that tiny thing. So you're trying to get all your cucumber and your celery and your leaves, all your spinach leaves, and they're all falling out either side. So it takes ages. With this, you just chop up, stick it in, switch it on, and then you go off and make your turmeric drink or whatever, your turmeric latte, and then it's finished when you get back. Yeah, the H400 as well. Sorry, yeah, the H400 is great too. And Huron have actually got a super small transportable one as well for those who are saying, I haven't got the bench space. They have got that as well. Yeah, the H400 is great. The Hurons are about, in pounds, I would reckon probably about 200 quid. I think they're about $500 over here. So somewhere between 200 and 300 pounds, I would reckon. But they're well worth the extra cost. Well worth the extra cost. All right, so Karen said you need to make sure you're getting, this is just a good comment, non-GMO vitamins and minerals. Absolutely. Organic and non-GMO. Oh, there you've said, Kay Warden, bonsoir. Ah, oui. Questions around kefir. Excuse me. Can you guys, rude, switch off your phones. I wasn't expecting that to come up on my computer. Apologies for that. All right. Sorry, explain phospholipids. All right, I've gone back up. I'm not sure there were any questions. Brand of MCT oil, I'll put into the notes, of course, a link to the one that I use. All right, so questions as we get into it. How much oil is too much oil per day? Oil has a very high upper tolerable limit, which means you need to have a ton of it before it would actually cause a deleterious health issue. The worst thing that will happen for most people, when this is kind of your body's safeguard, is that you will start to feel nauseous when you've had too much. If you do get into that situation, just have a snack of any kind, some crackers, and the nausea goes away really quickly. You want to be aiming for 3 grams of omega-3 per day and about a tablespoon of coconut oil per day, or MCT oil per day. That's sort of where you want to be going for. Right, this question also from Barbara. How does the 80-20 affect muscle gain or loss? What do you mean? What do you mean? Because in my head, I'm going, it depends on what you're consuming within the 80-20. So can you expand a little bit on what you mean from that, Barbara? And while you are, I'll just quickly explain phospholipids again. It's just a form of omega-3 that can cross the blood-brain barrier. So it's good for cognition and mental health. So Barbara, what do you mean by how does the 80-20 affect muscle gain or loss? Are you meaning like how does living alkaline affect muscle gain or loss, or how would the weight loss protocol affect muscle gain or loss? Is there someone's just mentioned Prime Days, Amazon Prime Days. Is there one coming up? Is there a Prime Day coming up? I want to get loads of new bamboo sheets for my bed. So I'd love to do that. And there were, I was also going to explain, of course, at the top of the session I was saying, I was going to explain what living sort of alkaline, 80-20 alkaline means, and can I have a acid thing if I eat an alkaline thing after? So this is where October the 10th, thank you. Adrian, I'll have to look into that. What would be your recommendation then if you weren't getting bamboo sheets? I've got a lot of bamboo at my house. It doesn't feel like it's plastic. So I'm all ears on that, Adrian. Maybe you can teach me something about bamboo. Sure. All right. I'll get organic cotton linen. Sorry. Yeah. I'll get organic linen sheets instead then. Ooh. Wow. We learn something new every day. I've learned a lot from survey answers of that questionnaire, but I should have asked, what do you do for a living? All right. Bamboo's out. Organic linen's back in. Thank you, Barbara. All right. So I'm going to explain this first things first. So the 20-80 approach is about picking the 20% that's going to get you 8% of the result. The 80-20, as most people think about it with regards to the alkaline diet, is saying 80% of your diet should be alkaline and 20% acid. And this is a fine rule of thumb, but 70-30, 60-40 some days, 90-10 other days, 99-1 on some days. Like, you just want to be getting to a place where you're not thinking about this stuff in such minutiae and with such detail and structurous rigor that it stresses you out. So you shouldn't be measuring the foods out and going, right, if I got 80%, no, don't think of it like that. We're starting with this process of building and building by adding in the good stuff first. So this fits within my other framework of crowd out the bad. The more good stuff you add in, the better you'll feel, the more results you'll get, the more motivation, momentum and confidence you'll get, and you'll naturally start adding in more good stuff and you'll crowd out the bad. So once you are in a place, let's say by the end of the 8-week program, where you're feeling like you are living a diet which is mostly alkaline, and that's fantastic, you're not going to be thinking, is it 80% alkaline or is it 20% acid? You're going to be thinking, am I mostly making the right food choices? I'm so intrinsically motivated to make the right choices because both consciously and subconsciously, I know how good it makes me feel and how crap the bad choices make me feel, that I'm going to be making the good choices most of the time. And what it means is treats become a treat and you still have them and you enjoy them when you have them. You go on a date night with your partner, you go out with friends for brunch, you have a cheese board at the restaurant. Yeah, you have a glass of red when it's worth having a glass of red versus just having a half a bottle of wine on a Monday for no reason. The treats still exist and the treats become a treat. So within that context, don't stress about 80% alkaline, 20% acid, or any percent alkaline and any percent acid. Just keep moving forward till you get to that point where you're just naturally, effortlessly living with the right choices most of the time. The question around, can I have a dessert if I follow it up with a green juice? The body doesn't really work like that. I mean, you are supporting the neutralization of the acidic effect in the digestive process. So in lesson 1, we talked about the digestive system and how it works and how when you eat foods, your body produces sodium bicarbonate, it produces hydrochloric acid. And, when you're over-consuming acid-forming foods, your body's alkaline buffers will get exhausted and that causes stress and that diet-induced acidity and all that stuff. So by having an alkaline forming beverage, maybe you have a coffee and then have some sodium bicarbonate in the water. Yes, you're supporting your body to neutralize the acidity, but 2 things. 1, it isn't as quick and direct as that your body then goes pew pew, take out those acids with these alkaline bits. There's still a process the body has to go through to neutralize the acidity, which is still stressful. The second part is the caffeine still exists in the food, which causes the adrenals to release cortisol, which causes blood pH to go down. So it stresses the adrenals and it still causes longer term acidity. There's still sugar and colorings and flavorings and all that in a chocolate bar. They don't go away because you've given your body some alkalinity to support that part. The sugar is still there, which is going to cause inflammation, the preservatives and that. So yes, you're helping to shoot down some of the acidity in the short term, but acidity isn't just created by the pH of the food when it goes into your guts. The acidity is also created by the reactions that it causes in the body, like the adrenal stress, like the inflammation, like the immune distress, like the digestive clogging and all those sorts of things. So don't try and think about it like deposits and extractions from a bank account. See it as a bit more holistic than that. I hope that helps. So with regards to muscle loss or muscle gain, protein is part of the puzzle. So let me put up your question again, Barbara. With regards to muscle loss and muscle gain, obviously your exercise routine will be a part of this. If you want to build muscle, you need to do resistance exercise of some form. If you want to support that resistance exercise to then build new muscle tissue, your diet has to be supportive of that process, which isn't just eat protein at all costs. That's one of the building blocks and it's an important one, but it is widely recognized in like bodybuilding communities that you need to have healthy blood cells. You need to have lots of good proper hydration. You need to have lots of good healthy fats. You need to have a strong digestive system. You need to support your liver and your kidneys. So all the things you're doing in an alkaline diet are perfect for building muscle. Like think about that, healthy red blood cells, lots of chlorophyll, lots of greens, lots of alkaline minerals. Like there's loads of minerals that are super, super important in the muscle building process. Zinc, iron, just to name it, magnesium. These are all abundant in alkaline forming foods. So if you were living a very alkaline lifestyle and also meeting your protein requirements, which as we talked in one of the Q&As on another one of these lessons is really, really simple. And you, again, can add in if you're really concerned, a sprouted protein powder, like an alkaline forming protein powder, which I will give links again in these show notes, but are also on some of the other ones as well. Absolutely fantastic for building muscle tissue. All right. We're getting close to the end here. I can sense it. Barbara's been in some of my other programs before, and when I get Barbara's 4 questions in a row, you time it perfectly, Barbara. You time it perfectly. It's like Barbara's run of questions is usually, it's like she senses the end is in sight, and it's like, right, I can get them all answered in a row. It's brilliant. Kay, that's brilliant. That's a brilliant comment. I love this. I'm just going to put that out while I have some more water. Oh, that's nearly gone. You do Tai Chi as well. Brilliant. What do you know what the form or the family of Tai Chi is that you do? Tanya's beyond what would be a black belt in Tai Chi. She's masters of all 6 wuxi, all 6 of the forms. She's brilliant. Me and Leo are on part 3, I think. I get a little bit stuck on cloud hands. But we do it as part of our Kung Fu. Our Kung Fu Qigong is a grandmaster of Kung Fu and Tai Chi, Qigong, and Feng Shui as well. So he's teaching us. We've just got our black belts in Wing Chun, and me and Leo are still beginners at Tai Chi, and we do some Qigong as part of our lesson, but we're now also learning Jiao Ga, which is really exciting because it's just digressing slightly, but Wing Chun is very close form and Jiao Ga is longer form, so it's good fun. But that's awesome. Okay, geez. We should get together in the south of France and have a Tai Chi session. Yes, lots more to remember in part 3. Lots. But Barbara's question, to get back on the track. Do I worry about carbs? How many carbs are too much, or do I even worry about it? Don't worry about it. Worry if you're going to worry about it. Well, actually, don't worry. If you're going to consider any part, it's the type of carbs. So you want to be moving towards complex and away from simple. But all of the most alkaline forming foods that are carb heavier are complex carbs, and there's very few simple carbs being used. And it's just not something you really need to stress about. The volume of greens and fats and minerals and those anti-inflammatories, they're the things that are the bigger priority. Rather, I would say, honestly, apart from fats, micronutrients are far more worthy of your consideration than the macronutrients. All right. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap up? I'm going to give you that link again for you guys. There's tons of you that have just that have signed up this morning. I'm very excited to share all the details and the registration form. Geez, gosh, loads of you in the last 10 minutes. Very excited to share a bit more depth about what it's going to look like. For those of you that get that link tonight, my explanation of it all and everything in the page is all very informal. In fact, the whole thing is very informal. So one of the things that I would say about this, if you are thinking of joining, is I've never taught this before. I don't know if I'll ever teach it again. If I do, it won't be till sometime next year. You're going to be getting it. Oh my gosh, Kay as well. Yes, that is absolutely outrageous. So Kay's family in Wollaston, that's literally, I can walk there from my mum and dad's house. That's just bonkers, isn't it? Not any relation to Lewis Warden by any chance, is there? We should do this offline, Kay. Who would be about 42, 43 now. Went to school with Lewis Warden at Wollaston School. Yes, the focus for us. So it is all going to be informal and a bit rough around the edges. So this program isn't going to have loads of fancy graphics and fancy this and that. It's going to be delivered to you live as we're going. Very much, we're going to just hold hands and we're just going to run full pelt at it together. So the trade-off is you're not going to get fancy pictures and fancy graphics. The trade-off for that is you're going to get a lot more of me working with you in the program. Because this is the first time through for this, it's going to be half price for you guys as well. So there's going to be 50% off, When I teach it again, if I teach it again next year, maybe March, April, May sometime, it will be double what you guys will pay. So these are all things to consider as well, but it is going to be very, and when I say informal, that just means you and me are going to be working together really closely, and we're going to be back and forth and having lots of fun together. So yeah, that's really important as well. So for those of you who get the message tonight and get the opportunity to join tonight, even that page and that registration and that video that I'll send you will probably be a bit rough around the edges and a bit informal as well. It will still be me in this room, but it will be all a bit, probably not the most professionally put together thing, but I don't really care. I just want to work with you guys, and I just want to get started. So with that being said, I cannot wait to get started with you guys who are going to start with me. For you guys who the timing isn't right for you, that's totally fine. To every one of you who have been on these live sessions, I absolutely am so grateful. I'm kind of a little bit sad that we're at the end of these 3 lessons, because I've loved getting up in the morning on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This week for me, it's been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for most of you guys. I've loved it. It feels like a little era. I just feel really emotional, like happy, emotional, a little bit sad that it's finishing, but a massive gratitude to all of you guys. It wouldn't be the same if it was just me talking to a screen without all of this going on in the chat at the side. It's a real community that's built up around this, and I love it. I am excited that for a lot of you guys, we're going to carry on next week. We're going to carry on, well, immediately, really. As soon as you join, we're going to be working on your questionnaires. Barbara, it doesn't matter for people that are out of town. There's another Barbara that's joined that has got some delays and stuff, and we'll work those in, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to wrap up by just saying thank you. We've been together for nearly 3 hours Monday, nearly 3 hours Tuesday, 2 hours today. That's a lot of time we've spent together. And I've loved it, and I hope you've loved it too. I can't wait to see you all again. If you're in the program, I'll see you all again in a week, and I'll be chatting to you in between. If you're not in the program, I'll see you all again on the next live session that I do at some point. Might not be this year. It might be next year before I do another live sort of webinar type training, just out there in the world, in the public world. And thank you. It's time for me now to go and have another green juice, and I hope the same for you. I'm sad about ending the session, but goodbye, everybody. Love you all. Don't forget, do sign up and register your interest, even if you're not sure if you want to do it now. Give yourself that opportunity to make the decision. And guys, I will see you all next time around. Take care. Have fun.